All right, welcome everybody to tonight's Connection Hangout. Tonight is the Athlete Connection. All right, well, my name is Paul Tyra, and I'm joined by my co-host in Marietta, Georgia. Welcome, David Asarno. How's it going, David?
I am awesome. How are you?
Doing fantastic. We're trying to not melt out here in 115-degree weather out here in Vegas.
Does our 95 with 100% humidity feel warmer than your 115 with no humidity?
I would say yes. I would say yes. And it's like people, they joke about, oh, it's a dry heat, but there really is a difference. I mean, when that water's evaporating off your skin, quickly, I'd rather have it 100 or 105 degrees here than to be 90 degrees where it's really humid, has a lot of humidity. You're just sweating and dripping, and we don't have it. Takes a little bit to get used to, though.
I've been here long enough. I'm used to it.
And hot Atlanta is getting hot, though, huh?
We are hot. Yes, we are.
All right, well, stay cool. As a reminder to everyone out there, the Connection Hangout, this is not a product or a business presentation, but if you'd like more information about ASEA or Renew Advanced, please get back with the person who invited you to this broadcast. Some of you may see a More Info button underneath the screen as well, and if you do, feel free to click on it right after the broadcast is over. Also, if you'd like to chime in and let us know where you're viewing from, we'd love to hear from you. Just type right beneath the screen. There's a comment section, comments thread below. And we may not be able to respond during the broadcast, but we'll do so after the show's finished. We like to see what you guys are up to. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and pass it over to David to introduce tonight's special guest.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Now, today we have Brandon Berrett. Now, Brandon is an American Ninja Warrior. He's father of a cutie redhead. He's also a professional rock climber. In fact, in our discussions ahead of time, in every rock climbing competition that Brandon has participated in, he's either gotten first or second. He's an artist, an entrepreneur, loves nature, is powered by ASEA, and is going this year for the one-armed pull-up competition. So welcome, Brandon.
Hey guys, how's it going? Glad to be here.
It's awesome having you. Now, you have quite an amazing background, from being a professional rock climber to an American Ninja Warrior, and the ability to do one-arm pull-ups so well that you're going for the world record. So what do you attribute all your success to?
A lot of my success comes from my life story, I think, kind of where I grew up and how I was raised. I'll go ahead and kind of just get into that a little bit. I grew up with parents that were actually addicted to drugs, and my brother and we basically raised ourselves, and being in a condition where our parents weren't there for us, we literally had to walk to the food coalition together. We had to figure life out, and we got into drugs at a really young age. And when one of my teachers, my second grade teacher, saw what was going on, she called, did an investigation, and within a couple of weeks, I was taken away from my family and put into a shelter home. And it's like a treatment center shelter home. Then after that, I was put into a foster home for 4 years. And then after that, I was adopted to a different family. And so I think a lot of who I am and why I'm an athlete and what I do is because of all the things that I've gone through and the resilience that I've gained from that. And so anything that I put my mind to, I know I can achieve. And so my brother actually, with the Ninja Warrior thing, he saw that I was going through a hard time, and he signed me up, and out of nowhere I get this thing, an email saying, hey, we need you to finish your application for an American Ninja Warrior. And I was like, oh, you little, he got me. So he snuck a quick one on me, and so I finished it, and I was accepted onto the show. And so basically I would attribute it to all the individuals that took a part in my life, that saw that I was struggling, saw that I wasn't in a good situation, and led me to believe and helped me understand that I was capable of anything. And so that's why I'm here. It's I'm piggybacking off of the hundreds of people that have given me a little time, whether it was food or what it was when I was a kid, to get to where I am today. So that's where I am. It was a big collaborative effort.
Awesome.
Super. That is a great story. Now let's talk about American Ninja Warrior. I'm a big fan, although I don't get to watch it all the time because of my busy traveling lifestyle. And I haven't seen an episode where you've actually competed on. But let me ask you: have you ever actually made it through the entire course? And if so, what did you find to be the obstacle that you might have had the most challenge with?
Okay, so when I was in Kansas City, that was my qualifying city for season 7. They're actually running and airing season 8 right now, but when I was there, I did finish the qualifying day, and so it's I believe 6 obstacles the first day, and basically if they take the top 30, so whoever gets the farthest, and say nobody completes it, they go
Right.
whoever gets the furthest, the fastest, the top 30, and then they move on to the city finals. And so I made it through the qualifying course no problem. In fact,
Wow.
I ran
Up the
my
wall?
course, yeah, right after I ran, right after Isaac Caldiero, who won the show. I followed up him, so that was kind of
Oh, wow.
exciting. So I finished, and then the next day it rained right before my run, and so I had a 3-hour rain delay, so I was cramping and I was tired and sore, but there was no chance that I was not gonna get through that sucker. And so I got to the obstacle that everybody was falling on. It was called body prop. And I would say it's a fairly, for me, it's been an easy obstacle in the past, but my problem was with the rain, I could not get any traction. And so as soon as I put my other foot on to brace myself and really push my strength in to get through that obstacle, I fell. And so that was a little heartbreaking because I know I can do that obstacle any other day when it's dry. But yeah, it was an exciting time though. I think the hardest obstacle that I've ever been on is when I was in Las Vegas. And so the national finals, they take the top 15 from each city, and there's only 5 cities. And they take us to the national finals. And so this is out of about 60,000 to 80,000 contestants. And so I was able to get there, and I fell on the 4th obstacle, which is probably my hardest. And you jump off of a trampoline, and you have a
Right.
short runway, and you launch up against 2 walls, and you have to press your body and your hands.
The spider wall, right?
Yeah, it's like spider climb, but yeah. So even when the testers go through and they show us how the obstacles work, just to make sure on camera that we don't break the rules.
Right.
And even the people that said it, and they fell on jumping spider showing us. And so it's one of those things. It's a volatile obstacle. It knocks out more people than you would believe. So, but that was tough. That was really hard to go down that year. That way.
That's the one that knocked out Casey Canizaro, right?
Yeah, it knocked her out. Isaac Caldiero, the one that actually ended up winning the show, his first 2 seasons, he actually fell on, the first season he fell on spider jump. Yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and Jeff Britton, the guy that also finished the course, he fell on spider jump his first year. We all fall on it, apparently.
How do you train for something like that to be able to do it the right way?
It's unpredictable. The reason why is because we're competing in the Las Vegas Heat 1. I ran at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was still 98 degrees at 3 o'clock in the morning. And they have the course set up just close to Luxor, and there is it's like a dust mound. And so pretty much you train the best you can to do the obstacle, but let's say a thin coat of dust is on plexiglass when you go to jump on it. You can't predict that. They try to wipe it off, but you'll easily slip. There's no way you can get traction. And so the main thing is making sure your equipment's right, making sure that you're healthy, and making sure that you're flexible. Flexibility is huge. I do a lot of yoga to be able to get my flexibility up because I'm not flexible. So, but yeah, it's intense. That's a tough obstacle for sure. That one sent me home crying.
So let's talk a little bit about that world record that you're going for in pull-ups.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you? What does it mean to viewers to be able to? How many pull-ups is it that you're going for? And
oh, go ahead. Sorry, David.
no, how many pull-ups are you going for? And so, what does getting that record mean to you?
It means everything to me, actually. At this point, I've accomplished a lot. I've done a lot of cool things. I've done product development. I've taught high school for 5 years. I own my own companies. I do my own things, and so Ninja Warrior was amazing. Rock climbing's been amazing, but this is the next level for me. And for anything, I'm a single dad, and so to be able to prove to my child that no matter what background you come from, or to anyone, anybody that's gone through what I've had to go through or similar circumstances, or have had just heartbreak in your life, you can do anything you put your mind to. And so my goal for the pull-ups, there's 3 separate world records that I plan on setting. One of them is the 1 minute. So the most one-arm pull-ups in 1 minute right now is done by a man from Ukraine, and he's done 17. I plan on doing at least 25 is my goal. 25 to 30 in a minute is my goal. Currently, I can do, I mean, I'm in a good place to be able to reach that. It's going to take me about 6 months to train up to that, but I'm on target for that. And the next one is the heaviest weighted one-arm pull-ups, so how much weight I add onto myself. So far, I've done 45 pounds. Yeah, and that's not, a lot of people use a weight belt to put the weight so it's center gravity. I actually hold the weight in my other arm, so it makes it a lot more difficult. And so I plan on doing that.
Yeah, out of curiosity, why do you do that?
I do that mostly because for me, it like counters my muscles and makes it so I actually pull harder. Mm-hmm. Some people it doesn't. For me, it does. And so I'm going to test both before I actually go for the world record for the most weighted one-arm pull-up. But I plan on really crushing that one. I think that one I have a chance of setting a pretty high precedent. And then the next one is going to be one that will take about 8 months to a year, about 8 months from today to train for. And it's the most one-arm pull-ups in a 24-hour period. And so that one is exhausting. It's intense. I'll have to set the thing in, have my ASEA in hand, ready to rock. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting event for sure. So those are the 3. I plan on doing the one-arm pull-up most in 1 minute and the weighted one in November. Okay. Is what I'm kind of shooting for. And then by January, most likely January, I'm going to go for the most pull-ups in one-arm pull-ups in 24 hours. And there is currently no record set for that. And so I'll be the precedent for that.
Nice, nice. Now,
you mentioned there. By the way, what's your goal for that?
For that one, I haven't done. I'm actually hiring a coach right now to help me help me train for that, because that one you really have to have your vitals, everything figured out, because you're up for 24 hours, and I'm gonna try to average. I think it's 2 to 3 one-arm pull-ups per minute. It's either per minute or per 5 minutes. I think it's per 5 minutes. I definitely have to get a coach for that, because that's the kind of stuff that I wouldn't know how to pace myself right now. And so we're gonna try to set a record that won't be beat for a long time. Hopefully by my kid, right?
Wow, that is amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so let's get to the real results part of the program. You mentioned ASEA and having a lot of ASEA with you, of course, on these events you're training for and during the event. How were you initially introduced to ASEA, and what got you so excited about the product?
So I was training for the brand new show that they came out with this year, actually, and they've renewed the show now, and it's called Team Ninja Warrior, and we actually race each other on obstacle courses. We're right next to each other, about 5 feet apart, and we race on identical courses, and then at certain points they cross paths. And I was training the balance for that. And I was about 2 months out from actually going to the competition, and I was doing balance training, and I rolled my ankle so bad that I thought I had snapped it. I thought I had broken it. And because I've never had anything like an ankle swell, I've broken my feet a few times, and this thing swelled. It was huge, and I was scared. I was like, oh no, I'm done. I'm done for good. And I went and checked. They said it wasn't broken, but I'd really sprained it so severely. And I work at a treatment center teaching kids art, and the chaplain who runs the religious aspect of that school, she saw me hobbling, and she goes, I have a product that I want you to try, and I guarantee it's going to change your life. And I was like, all right, I've heard this one before. Lay it on me, Tammy. And Tammy went ahead and she brought me some of the Renew, and then she also brought me she brought me pretty much this kit, and she said, okay, you need to drink this, do this. And at the time I didn't know what it was. I'm like, I'm willing to try it. And so I put the Renew on my ankle, and I kid you not, within I think it was 3 days I was snowboarding.
Yeah.
I was out crushing it on the slopes. And so I came back, and then she saw me walking just fine, and I was back to my training. Like, I was being a little coy with my training, but she asked, "How did you do?" And I'm like, I think I jumped up on my desk, and I was like, "I'm doing great." That stuff's some magical stuff for sure. So that's where I was introduced to it, and she actually had some connections and was able to get me into the point where I was able to get a sponsorship to help me really push what ASEA can do for me as an athlete in my field.
Super. Super.
Let's talk a little bit more about ASEA. How much do you take at a time, and what other kind of changes have you noticed in your body and performance, from the initial reaction?
Yeah, so initially I noticed that I didn't really get any detox effects. People talk about the detox effects. I have noticed that if I take too much, I do see, without drinking enough water or without eating prior, I tend to get a little bit of a detox effect. But when I'm working out, I'll do about 4 ounces in the morning to start off, because I have morning shenanigans and I'm a single dad. And so after that, right before my workout, I'll take about 2 ounces. And this has been a little adjusted since the conference. And then while I'm working out, depending on the intensity of my workout, I sip on it about 2 to 4 ounces after that. So I'll sip on it during my workouts. And what I've noticed with that, by sipping on it and kind of having more control over it, I've been able to gauge my results more. It's taken a little bit longer to understand my routine and really get into it, because each workout's different for me. One could be an interval running workout where I'm just running brutally hard hills and down, up and down, and my body's just going through all these changes. And so I'll go through a lot more SIA when I'm doing those type of workouts than when I'm doing like body weight exercises. And so it really depends. But for me, the results and the things that I've noticed the most is that I'm able to recover much quicker. My recovery, and I think most people when they see me, they're like, "How are you able to do, like, I don't know, 100 one-arm pull-ups in a workout in one day, and then come back the next day and run 10-mile intervals and do another 100 one-arm pull-ups?" And it's like, well, when your recovery is on point, you can be on point. And so for me, the recovery is key. And then also during my workout, there is a increased amount of, not only I would say my ability to reach a higher metabolic heart rate, but I'm able to stay at my strongest point, my most exertion for a longer point of time without giving out. And so for me, that's key, especially where I'm having to, in the show, in Ninja Warrior, I'm having to really exert all that, all in about 45 seconds to 1.5 minutes. And so for me, that's key. Those are the main things I've noticed. And then the renew for me has been amazing, because I do get little minor injuries all the time. Tendon injuries is where it's most for me. So I'll get tendon injuries in my elbows and in my fingers. And so I'm constantly putting renew on there, and also my knees. And to be honest, it's really, really, I physically notice a difference completely, and that's added the ability for me to be mentally capable of doing anything in my workouts or in my competitions, because I know that my body will show up to the event. I know that I'm going to be ready, and that's what's most important for me. So I would say recovery, the ability to feel recovered, and also to be able to be at my max power for increased amount of time. And that has increased quite a bit. The percentage, I couldn't quite tell you, but it is incredible for sure.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. In closing here, can you share maybe some of the upcoming events that you have that some of our viewers can be looking out for, and maybe even if you have an internet site or some social media presences out there, maybe that they can stay tuned and plugged in with you on?
Yeah, absolutely. So in November is when Team Ninja Warrior will start filming for that, and that will air, I think, about end of December, beginning of January. And that, look out for that. That's going to be a riot. They've actually, last year they only gave us 5 shows, or 5 episodes. This year they've given us 14 episodes, and so you're going to see some life stories. You're going to see me in a Sia shirts. It's going to be an exciting event, and so that one. And then obviously November, I'll be posting on it when I'll be doing my world record stuff. But November through January is when I'll be doing that, and then March and April is when you'll start seeing me compete for the normal show once again. This year I actually got injured, so I couldn't do it, and there was a couple things that made it so that I couldn't. But other things, rock climbing competitions, those I'll post on. I'm trying to decide which ones I'm going to do currently. There are a few, and I'll definitely let people know so they can come and watch. And I think they do live streams on those as well. But my social media handles on Facebook, I'm just Brandon Berrett. Last name's Berrett. And then on Instagram, it's Brandon, Brandon, period, Berrett. And that's where I post, you'll see in the next coming months, I'll be posting a ton of videos and stuff on my training for the one-arm pull-ups and for Ninja Warrior. And cool. I'll be posting when those events are for my rock climbing as well. And I'm currently working on getting an athlete page set up on Facebook and a website. So we're getting there. It's a lot to handle.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Brandon, for taking a little time out of your training. I know it's got to be a real tough training regimen, and being a single dad and all that good stuff. We really appreciate your time.
Any questions for me or anything, reach out. I'm more than happy to help out. I love ASEA. I love the product, and I've never really wanted to vouch for a product as much as I want to, because I truly believe in it and I know that it works. And so I'm willing to, as an athlete, I know a lot of other athletes can get a little skeptical because they have their regimens, what they do with their supplements and stuff. But the people that I've introduced it to, the athletes, they all have said that it is an excellent product and that they have seen a difference in their performance. And so let them talk to me. I had to break the routine of the supplements as well, and it's definitely worth it. And it takes a little bit. And I've talked to Breja Larson about this as well, the swimmer that's also an ASEA athlete. And we both agreed that you definitely have to figure it out once you get off your supplements. So we're here to help you guys, help the other athletes that you encounter understand how it works. And so we're learning and we're willing to share. So reach out.
Super. Thanks so much once again. And of course, thanks to my co-host there, David. Thank you, David, for a great job once again.
Awesome. And let's give a big shout of applause for Paul Tyra for putting this all together.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Have a good one.